Imagine a world without paper. School textbooks would be made out of wooden boards, poetry would be written in stone, and books would be available only orally, unless you'd be lucky enough to find a tree bark version. Everything would be much more inconvenient, heavy, and awkward. So appreciate the paper. Pack some random laying around sheets today. Hi, hello! I'm Oak, a VTuber and a craftsperson. On this channel you can find various informative videos about approaching specific hobbies, while on a very tight budget with the environment in mind. So, without further ado, let's get back to the topic. Maybe you clicked into this video wondering why you would ever make your own paper. It's not like it's expensive or hard to find. On the contrary, paper is everywhere, in many forms, colors and sizes. There is absolutely no need to waste water and other items needed for that project. And to that I say, very fair, very true. But just imagine that someone gives you a gift. There is also a letter. Paper is a bit coarse, got some interesting bumps, and the overall texture seems unusual. Smell the perfume. See pieces of foliage or flowers seemingly embedded into the surface. Letter is stiff, folded and decorated with a wax stamp. You know it's not something the person giving you a gift bought. They made it. You slowly cut away the seal, carefully, not destroy the beautiful design stamped in it. Paper creaks like an old treasure chest, while you inhale the beautiful smell. Inside, somewhere between the leaves and flowers, you see a text, or maybe a little surprise. No matter the content, you know you're going to keep this letter forever. It's just too beautiful, too unique to throw it away. What I'm trying to say, people make their own paper for vibes. And you can too! All you need to start is water, starch, old kitchen blender and some waste paper. Plus a space where you can make a little bit of mess and dry newly made sheets afterwards. There are different methods of doing this whole shebang, and I will focus on the simplest, most available options, keeping the concept of almost 3TM and being as less waste as possible in mind. If after watching this video you'll be interested in exploring this craft more, consider scrolling through papermaking subreddit, where you can see more advanced equipment used and learn about various complicated techniques. So let's start with the simplest method. This is the only one that doesn't require a deckle, but instead you will need a kitchen roller or a tall smooth bottle and some rags. Personally, I prefer to use Tetra cloth. The fabric is of ideal density for that job and has a nice texture that can be later seen on the sheets. Remember to use only scraps of real paper. Those shiny, plastic-looking ones are not suited for this project, nor recycling for that matter. Cardboard rolls, egg holders, matte magazines, random sheets of paper, and brown paper packaging will work best. Just remember to cut them into small pieces, otherwise your blender will have a huge problem later. You can soak your paper confetti in water for an hour or two before mixing everything. Next, you need to prepare a mixture of starch and water. 1 cup of this weird jelly shall suffice. Use warm water and a small portion of starch. Be careful to not go overboard, otherwise you may end up with non-Newtonian fluid. Also, did you know that clear starch can be used to stiffen the fabric or to glue wallpaper to the wall? It's truly an all-in-one product! Then, pour a tiny amount of water into the mixer, add 1 handful of your paper confetti and a spoon of weird jelly and mix it. Add the next handfuls and spoons to the mixture until the consistency reminds you of a mash. This is a guessing job, but the more starch you add, the sturdier the paper will be. But at the same time, too much may break the mixer, so create your weird mash potion carefully. I think this is a good moment to remind you that a mixer used for paper should not be used for food later. Then lay a cloth on any water-resistant surface and start forming a flat rectangle with your pulp. Cover it with another piece of cloth and use kitchen roller or a bottle to squeeze as much water from it as possible. Be careful to not tear the sheet. Then carefully lay it on the drying station, in my case those are usually big pieces of cardboard, and let it dry. If you want to add anything to your sheets like flowers, you should do this somewhere during the rolling process. Paper produced in that way will be thick and textured, but you should be still able to write on it. Speaking from experience, it also works fantastically for gift packagings. Just cut the right shape, fold, and voila! If you'd like to achieve finer sheets, instead of laying the pulp onto the cloth, you need to dump it into the big bowl full of water and catch it on a sieve. The sieve in question can be made out of photo frame or a box, but you can also just buy a deckle. When pulp settles to the bottom of your sieve-like contraption, drop the water and with one swift move slap your wet sheet of paper on a drying surface. If you want to add something to the paper, for example glitter or other smile decorations, just drop it into the bowl and mix it with the rest. Keep in mind that any bigger or thicker elements may destroy the paper. And honestly, that's all that is to it. Of course you can use better equipment or space for that, let's be honest, quite a messy hobby, but if you want to simply try it out, this video is all you need. Also, don't be afraid to experiment. You can add to your pulp various materials like sea dust or husk to achieve more interesting textures and colors. Side note, food coloring will not work here, but feel free to try out different things. Lastly, tell me, have you ever held handmade paper? Or have you ever been to the historic paper mill? Write your comments down below. And that will be all, friends. May your pulp be mushy, furniture not damaged, and happy weekend! Bye bye! Oh, and don't forget about spring spinning! Flash warning!